Drew Gunn back with Red Tail Cup Bracketology. We're here today joined by Derek Smith, Tournament Director and Assistant Pro at Red Tail Golf Club. Derek, we want to catch everybody up on the goings-ons of the first round, get them prepared for what's going to happen in the second round. As you look back at what happened in the first round, what kind of stands out to you?
I think what stood out to me, I think we had a really good, handicap committee did a good job, especially with a lot of, one-up matches. I know we had a few matches go to 19 holes.
Yep. We had 8 matches go to 18 in total,
yep,
and 2 go into extras.
There you go. And then I don't think there were too many blowouts, I guess you could say. So
overall, fair competition. We strive for fair, equitable play.
Exactly.
And I think we achieved that.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we had some upsets, newer members getting in there. And yeah, some bracket busters for sure.
Yeah, well, let's talk about those bracket busters. So I think, in my mind, some of the biggest bracket busters were Bear Dillon. They were 1 to 24 odds against Desitel and Popel, beating them 5 up. So that one really shocked me. A lot of people picking Desitel, Popel. How about you? Was that a surprise for you?
Little bit. I think when you get some of the higher handicap matches, I think those players, and I think it's kind of for everybody, if you have a good day and you get in those strokes, then you can kind of beat anybody. And if you don't show up, then you don't show up. So it could be a bad day. It could just be kind of one of those things, but definitely.
There's a lot of variability with a high handicapper, right? So like talking about handicap committee, talking about all of that, like we remind the audience that if you shoot your handicap 20% of the time, if your score matches your handicap 20% of the time, that's appropriate because it's about your potential.
Correct.
Your player potential,
Correct.
right? So it's not about your average or any of that. It's your player potential. And so sometimes you reach your potential and sometimes you don't if you're a high handicapper. And if you're facing a high handicapper, you're in trouble because they're gonna, if they rule the day, if they win, right? So that's tough.
Correct.
Other bracket busters worth mentioning: Masters Lindsay beating Willard Sheets. So like this is a new pairing, Willard Sheets, but a lot of people had promise on thinking that they might be able to carry the day. Your analysis of that one?
I think it's just kind of the same thing. I think Willard is, knowing him and playing with him before, like he's just kind of one of those players. If he's on that day, very hard to beat. I don't think he played his best that day.
Yeah.
So definitely could have been a factor. But again, props to the other team. As long as it's a team game. As long as you're consistent and you can ham and egg it a little bit, you're always going to be above the curve.
Nice, love it. Well, I don't want to go without mentioning Wilkie Sabatka beating Cutright Beeler 3-up. Wow, that was a bracket buster. And then Marshall Radovan beating Lessig Nagy. Wow, I mean the longtime pairing of Lessig Nagy back at it this year. Took a break last year. Those are some big bracket busters.
Yeah,
we have no perfect brackets, and right now we're set up for all hands on deck. Anything could happen as we anticipated. I want to give some honorable mention to a couple wins and get your comments on those too. So we had the first win in 3 years for a new team, Fector Zisk. Those guys had not won in 3 years. Congrats to them. But do you see them winning a second round match?
It's definitely possible. I've worked with both of them, and kind of same thing. I think that's a team that the chemistry is a big part of how they play that day, right? So
we've seen that with some of these matches.
Right.
The pairings matter, and you've got to find a partner you're comfortable kind of showing your best self and worst self to, right?
Yeah.
So you got to have somebody that can deal with your worst day and your best day and take them all in stride.
Talk to you a little bit, keep you calm out there.
Yeah, motivate you. Yeah,
Definitely.
yeah. I couldn't agree more. Couldn't agree more. Also want to give a shout out to Lozon Freed. That was a surprise win, beating the house show, Harry House and Matt Seedhouse. That was a tough match. In that match, 4 birdies won a hole. Like it was out there. 37 and 39 were carded on the front 9. Those guys were playing great, but yet the house show goes down in flames. We've seen that here at Red Tail with some other houses. And we've seen it with our own golf carts, right? So we got a picker out there on the golf range that will sit in infamy as all ablaze. So we like to set things on fire here at Red Tail, apparently.
Yeah, I guess so.
Well, speaking of on fire, who do you see as catching fire and moving on in the second round? We're down to the round of 32. This is where the nitty gritty. Everybody's kind of happy to win one, but to really get momentum in the Red Tail Cup, you got to follow it up. and we're going to eliminate half the field again.
Right.
Are there any favorites you think in the second round that you see moving on?
Favorites? I mean, your team moved on, right?
My team moved on, but we face defending champions Imler Ermin. So that's going to be a tough match.
It'll be a tough match, but I mean, it's the same thing. I think there's teams that seem to put it together at the right time. I think Red Tail Cups being season long, it's kind of the most consistent players are gonna come out. So if you're a hot and cold player, it's kind of like March Madness. It's if you're hot at the right moment, then it's going to work in your favor. But in terms of this tournament, I think the most consistent is usually what gets it done.
Well, we've seen that in our live looks. So we've done a number of live looks on the channel. And what I've learned from that is, like you said, it's not always the big birdie that wins or, the slam dunk from 50 yards.
Right.
It's the people that keep it in play, the people that keep it in front of them. No one's draining, with the exception of a few putts, no one's draining a lot of 30-footers. There might be one or two, but it's the consistency of play that will carry the day.
Correct.
It sounds like we agree with that.
Definitely.
Yeah, that's awesome. So other folks that we should do live look-ins. So I know there's the Gardner match with Paul and Dota, him and Tony Pack. That seems like live look worthy. Have you identified any others that might be worthy of a live look?
Not off the top of my head. The one I had was the one you just mentioned. I think that's going to be, again, great guys. I think that match is going to have kind of everything in it, from banter to just quality golf to,
A few cocktails.
On
one side, yeah.
You could have just some amazing holes. I mean, we've all seen Garth.
Oh,
we thought
catch fire.
we thought he's out of the hole.
Thought
and,
he's dead.
Then he's in there for a par.
I've seen him drive it on 10 into the water and then hit the next shot within 3 feet of the pin and win the hole. So it can happen like that. So, all right, one thing I wanted to ask you. So normally these matches, like you say, you hit the easy button, Red Tail Cup goes on, and there's not much drama or nothing really big happens. But this year we had one forfeit, we had one coin toss, and we had one match that's kind of been protested. Do you want to comment on any of those to fill in the blanks for folks?
Forfeits and coin toss, I think, just extenuating factors like injuries can happen. Obviously, that kind of take you out, which are unfortunate.
Vacations happen.
Vacations, just trouble scheduling. And I know at least the coin flip, we did have it scheduled, but unfortunately, it was just on that last day, and we got a lot of rain that day. So
that can happen.
Just kind of
get your matches in early. Sounds like that's good advice.
And advice for kind of the rest of the season. I mean, we had 32 matches, a lot of matches. Obviously, updating the handicaps that day of, getting all the information out to everybody. We obviously do the best we can, but technology is technology. Sometimes that glitches, sometimes it's human error. So we always just ask, just double check when you get in the first tee, when you log in. If anything looks weird,
out of sorts,
don't hesitate to ask. It's not going to hurt our feelings. It's always
That's
good
what you're here for.
It's always good to double check. And
whether it's
a
rules question or a handicap question, contact the pro shop. Definitely. They know what's what, and they can fix you up. So don't hesitate to do that. Good advice. All right, so as we head into it, right now we've got Armando Francisco in the lead of our bracketology, followed closely by Dave Pyros and Dave Erman. The picks are in. It's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out here from here on out. The heavy favorites right now, Nechke Matlock versus Lipinski Rack. Do you see the heavy favorites moving on there?
I think they are a consistent team. I would say Nechke and Matlock they're a good pair or a good team together.
Yeah.
And I think Lipinski and Rack are more of the hot and cold team.
Yeah.
They can get hot at certain points and they can go cold. So just depends on who shows up that day.
Okay. Dr. Phil and Glenn Fagan, Pyros Fuca. That one's on my scorecard.
All right, yeah.
Talk to me about that one.
I think that will be a very close match. I'd have to look back at my notes. I remember we had one match in our first round that I think they tied every single hole until about hole 15 when they went one up, and I think that team ended up winning the match. But I think that match especially, again, very all solid players. I think of Pyros as being one of those more consistent players, never going to get in too much trouble. And Dr. Phil and Glenn's a little bit more on that hot and cold side, but I think
Matches
that match,
his personality.
I
yeah.
think that match will come down to the wire.
Good, good. Well, the last shout out I want to give is to some new members here, newer, Marshall Radovan and Wilkie Sabatka. They're going to play each other. One of those teams is going to reach the Sweet 16.
That's right.
And that's a surprise for a lot of people.
Yep.
Any insights you can lend on those players since they're not well known?
Yeah, so Scott Wilkie's been a member for a while. He got
Yep.
paired up as a single with Sabatka, right?
Yep.
And yeah, I think that was Sabatka is a solid player. He's I think he kind of definitely won that match and helped out a lot. Wilkie obviously just helping out where he can and making sure that you kind of have that team, right? If one guy's out of it and you can ham and egg it,
Yeah.
you're going to do pretty well. And then Marshall and Radovan, I mean, they newer members, not many people know about them, but obviously very solid. So I think they might be a sleeper for if they get past this round. They could be.
One of those two teams will get past. They play each other, and to say that we would see them in the finals, that's a bold statement.
I think they are on that roll to where
Okay.
no
one's expecting them.
when you're new kid on the block, no one knows how to get in your head.
Right.
So
agreed. Well,
there you go.
thank you, Derek, as always, for your insights. You certainly know the players, many of them under your tutelage. That always makes a difference. We'll be back to you with more. This is The Gun Show.